Okay, abusuya bɛ mma akɔ aba sonko so ɛde ba POG Media so abusuya yɛn bonra ɛyɛ yɛn nsɛm no ɛyɛ kisi ɛdaben OSP declare Ken Ofori Atta wanted abusuya ɛnyɛ asam ketewa kora John Dramani Mahama sisi ano research no ɛkɔ so ɛyɛ Ken Ofori Atta bɔne a ɔkyɛ sɛ wɔdi Ghana no finally no OSP ababonten ababe declare wanted ɔkyɛ sɛ baabi a wɔ biara no abusuya yanko na yanko nkotie ensem ekos na ansa na ebekọ no wo ensem kan bi afahye your comment section live share ma afofron so ensa into me enkabi aha POG Media so medamase.
The OSP declares Kenneth Nanaya Ofori Atta a wanted person. He is a fugitive from justice. The OSP will take all necessary legal steps to secure his return to the jurisdiction and attendance at the OSP. And this is to Mr. Ofori Atta. You have two choices. You can either return to the jurisdiction voluntarily or the OSP will enforce your return. MPA staff Wendy Ashon Newman and the former chief executive of MPA, Mustafa Abdul Hamid. Lastly, it will be recalled that in the last quarter of 2023, the OSP and the Controller and Accountant General's Department jointly commenced corruption risk assessment and investigation into suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses in respect of government payroll administration. It is also recalled that the assessment and investigation are especially aimed at isolating and removing the names of non-existent, ineligible, and undeserving persons from government payroll, recovering wrongful payments and unearned salaries, prosecuting persons suspected to be culpable for any offenses, and the institution and implementation of internal controls in respect of payroll processing and payment of salaries. We further recall, as you do remember, that to facilitate the rollout of the investigation and assessment throughout the country, a pilot exercise was carried out in the northern region, covering educational institutions under Ghana Education Service and the Tamale Teaching Hospital, by a joint team comprising investigators, tracers, and assessors from the OSP and selected staff of the Payroll Processing Directorate of the Controller and Accountant General Department between December 2023 and April 2024. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, I'm glad to announce to you that after thorough investigation, the OSP is now ready to commence the prosecution of persons suspected to have engaged in such conduct. So earlier today, I directed the Director of Prosecutions at the OSP to file criminal charges at the High Court in Tamale against the following 6 persons. 1. Yakubu Tahidu, a former teacher at Balogu MA Junior High School, Yendi, in the northern region. 2. Abdullahi Abubakari Sadiq, an integrated personnel payroll database coordinator of the Ghana Education Service in Yendi, northern region. 3. Sami Suk, a schools improvement support officer for the Yendi North Circuit, northern region. Mohammed Yusuf J, one-time headmaster of the Balogu MA Junior High School, Yendi, northern region. Stafford Kolete Azude Barres, an assistant chief accounts technician at the Controller and Accountant General's Department, Accra, the Greater Accra region. And Osman Isahaku, a one-time headmaster of Balogu MA Junior High School, Yendi, northern region. The main charges are corruption of a public officer and corruption by a public officer involving the manipulation and siphoning of funds designed as fictitious salaries from the government payroll. The identified persons will soon be arraigned before the High Court in Tamale. Thank you for coming. Any questions? Yes, sir. It's always Elton. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Thank you very much, sir. So, you described Ofori Atta as a fugitive running away from justice. You declared him wanted, meaning you've come to the conclusion as expressing to regarding the investigations that have happened. You referenced the national cathedral, the SML, and others. Are you able to provide us some details as to his exact role in these matters that you've come to the conclusion that was present? Secondly, during him wanted, the claim there is that he is on an indefinite medical leave. And I'm wondering, I mean, is there no room to allow him access to speak rather than take this room to let him
Let me answer. We'll carry the media along when we are ready to disclose the nature of his involvement in these investigations. When we started, it was 4, but by last week, it had become 5. So we're still opening it up. The more we go into it, the more we see things. So when we are ready to state, we either come here to address you, or we put it by way of publication on our website or directly to the media. Yes, indefinite medical review. We are not without the milk of human kindness to appreciate and reckon a person's medical condition. But when you conduct yourself in a certain way to suggest that all you are doing is just a ruse and that you have no intention of returning to the jurisdiction, that is a conclusion we have come to. You see, as I said, the first communication to us was clear, that he was away indefinitely from the jurisdiction on medical grounds. Then we pushed further. You cannot tell us that you've gone out of the jurisdiction on medical grounds on your say-so. If you're a serious law enforcement agency, would you just take a person's declaration that, oh, I am so much an invalid that I'm unable to come? You would demand to know more, right? And that is exactly what we did. So we pushed. The response that came was unconvincing. That he may, at some future time, undergo possible surgical procedure. And I said something which is very crucial. There's intelligence available to us, which we do not want to reveal now because it may compromise the investigation. That tells us that, and that's what I stated, that it is just a ruse, that he can travel to the jurisdiction. It's not as if he comes to the jurisdiction, we'll promptly lock him up and throw the key away. It is a process we go through. This is a democratic institution with very well prescribed constitutional and statutory legal processes. So what do you fear coming in to answer questions? You can reschedule your appointments in such a way that you can come in and go. We will not say you should stay and die at all costs. What kind of persons will we be? And so that is not the issue. The issue is your express intention. You've gone away definitely. What do you have to show for it? We get a purported medical letter, a very sketchy one, which tells us that you have scheduled appointments which you need to attend and that you are being reviewed, and there are some future dates you would maybe undergo some surgical procedure. For us, this is unconvincing. And as I stated in my briefing, the letter doesn't say you are so much of an invalid that you can't complain and travel to the jurisdiction. We all fall sick at some point, and we all go seek medical attention wherever. But if you are not at the point of death, if you are not bedridden, if you are not on a stretcher, this is a ruse, and we are unconvinced. As far as we are concerned, he just doesn't want to return to the jurisdiction voluntarily, and we have given him the chance so to do voluntarily, failing which we will pull him to ground. Yes, sir.
My name is Bawumia. I work with T1 TV and Cyber. Mahama, T1 TV and Cyber.
I mean, your pen doesn't write.
Yes, so chemical come out willingly or you forcefully. How exactly is that being done? Can we say then that now you declared him wanted?
No, I didn't. You don't say. Can we now say? I just declared him a wanted person and a fugitive from justice. So don't put ifs and buts on it. We have declared him a fugitive from justice. He's wanted by the OSP. Otherwise, you will miss a lot. Mind you, it's a criminal investigation. Mind you, the outcome of a criminal process is that someone may lose their liberty. You have to be painstaking. And I keep telling my directors, if you bring a case to me and it is 70-30, I won't move. If it is 50-50, don't even bring it to me. I only start listening to you when it is 90-10. That is 90, that there is the real likelihood and probability that some criminality has ensued. But from there, we then go into SML. The SML investigation, we had to pause it, waiting for KPMG. Remember, there was a presidential directive to KPMG. We paused it for several months, waiting for it, because you do not want to do overlapping and expending very limited resources when you do not have to. So when the KPMG report was birthed, then we went back to it, looking at it again. And all of a sudden, ambulance matter came up. It wasn't until late November 2024 that Shraj issued its report on the National Cathedral project. Was it 28th November? Just a few months ago, that Shraj issued that report. Shraj referred the matter to us and said that if it was necessary, we should go to it. And we stated that, yeah, it was necessary. So from the ending of November 2024, we went into it. By January, it became obvious that we should pull him to the OSP. You get it? So it is a gradual process. So it is luckless coincidence that his government is no longer in power. If his government was still in power now, we would still have gone after him. We have a history of that.
I think
No, you asked yours, right? He hasn't had. Sorry? You haven't? Oh, why? Mr. Addo, you don't like him? Okay, he Kentema will have the last word. Emmanuel Wilson. Oh, right.
My question has to do with the aftermath of the investigation. It has been concerned that the whole investigation, they are really yet to secure any court conviction. The last time we were here in the press briefing, we had some issues with identification. So all these things that you do, what is the end game? We must secure any conviction since what you say to cases out there that to start these investigations, there hasn't really been.
Hey, we can picture as well. Good concern. I said not too long ago that these cases take time. It is like the study of geology, time and pressure, but with patience. Okay. We do two forms of investigation. One, investigation to prevent corruption. Those do not necessarily end up in prosecution. You are doing the investigation so as to plug loopholes, and a lot of the investigations we announce are in the nature of that. Look at when we started the government payroll administration investigation. That was in 23, right? Late 23, beginning 2025. We are now ready with our first suspects. You get it? Now you say we have not secured any conviction. Well, I wish we would have secured some, but it is not. It is not just an easy statement like that. You recall, there was one case. So I mean, when was it? I think it was 28th. There was supposed to be a judgment. We concluded the case. It was supposed to be an incurrency, only for us to go and to be told the judge had been transferred. What were we supposed to do? We are not the judges. We cannot read. We cannot read the judgment. What the OSP has to do, we have done. As video evidence of the person demanding back his bribe money after a public election went all right twice for him, and all that. we are in Tamale on the Northern Development Agency case. We closed our case. There was a submission of no case to answer, which went in our favor. The accused persons have opened their defense. We're on it. There's this perpetual one in Accra, respect of the former CEO of the Public Procurement Authority. We are alive to our duties. As I'm saying, these things take time. It takes time. And patience. The results will be seen. And in terms of investigating to prevent corruption, when you hear the name of OSP on the street, doesn't it shake you a bit? It does. I lie. It does. Say the OSP is coming around. It does shake you a bit. That's just investigation to prevent corruption. So it is, all I'm saying is, Ghanaians, with all humility, not all cases will end up in court. Indeed, most of the cases will not end up in court. The prevention of corruption aspect is even more crucial than getting one person to someone. But those that need to be prosecuted, we will not shield anyone. We will take them to court as soon as they are ready. And you can see we are rolling cases out. And at least on one occasion, we are done, waiting for the judgment to be read since November. So we are on course, and the fight against corruption is taking shape. Kentema will anchor us, then we'll be out of here.
My name is Malik.
Malik, yeah.
Is the ultimate goal of the OSP to get conviction cases back? Is it your ultimate goal to get persons convicted? If that is not the case, then I think the office has to give an indication. It means that sensitive. The office is not established to take persons to get them convicted. Because that's the understanding out there. That you take cases to court and you don't get conviction. Then two, I have read a few headlines on Facebook. The Mr. Kenoporiata at any point requested to seek medical attention out of the country. Did he seek any request?
From the OSP?
Yes.
No, but why would he? At the time when we hadn't requested his appearance, he wouldn't know that we wanted him to show up. So humanly, he would not have. And indeed, that would have sounded, let me use a word that's been going around again currency a bit today, that would have sounded fishy. You've not requested for the person's appearance, and he's telling you that he's going out of the jurisdiction of medical care. It means that he's preempting your strike, right? That would seem a bit out of the ordinary circumstances of mankind. And your first concern is what Mr. Ebo Hodgson also touched on. We are doubling down on our efforts, and sometimes we also require you to talk for us a bit. We also need the resources too. We've been talking about it all this while. I see the criticism a lot. That's fine. It's good to nyama people, but also raise your voice up and say that you also need the resources to move. I'm talking about education. It takes some resources to move. But yes, we are on our alive to our duties. And as I explained not too long ago, what is our ultimate aim? The ultimate aim is not to see Kwaku Mensah in jail or Kwabena Mpuma locked up. Our ultimate aim is that, as far as my tenure is concerned, when it ends and I leave, the conversation on corruption would have shifted, like a paradigm would have shifted, so that it will not just be business as usual. For people to know that when they engage in these acts, there's a price to pay, and a very hefty price to pay. For us here at the OSP, that message and that prevention drive is much more important than getting one person to jail. If you get one person to jail successfully, that's fine. There are a million Kwaku Mensens who are still engaged in the conduct which you have not been able to get to jail. But they are all freely engaging in such conduct. And
okay, abusunya awene ensema ekoso ewo political highway so eye OSP kisi ejaben ena yetene nka what declare Ken Ofori Atta wanted enye asamketo akra ebeda masesama jepene kokoti sa audio we e de MI aha POG Media so beda mase